Join me as I dive into the controversial Supreme Court ruling and challenge myself to understand if towns can really force homeless people out. Let's break it down. In today's video, we'll explore the implications of a recent Supreme Court ruling regarding homelessness and the potential powers towns may have in addressing the issue. Homelessness is an ongoing crisis that affects hundreds of thousands of people across the United States. Many individuals and families are forced to live on the streets, in shelters, or in temporary housing, struggling to get back on their feet. The lack of affordable housing, high unemployment rates, and mental health issues are just a few of the complex factors contributing to this problem. Moreover, the relationship between homeless individuals and the surrounding communities is often strained, with some community members viewing them as a nuisance or even a threat to public safety. As a result, tensions between the two groups continue to rise, making it even more challenging to find a solution. In many cases, homeless individuals are forced to deal with harsh weather conditions, lack of access to basic necessities like food and water, and even violence and exploitation. Despite the efforts of local authorities and nonprofit organizations to provide assistance, the problem persists, and the number of people experiencing homelessness continues to grow. This raises the question, what can be done to address this crisis, and do towns have the right to force homeless people out of their communities? The situation is further complicated by the varying approaches taken by different towns and cities to deal with homelessness. Some have implemented housing-first policies, focusing on providing permanent housing to individuals and families as quickly as possible, while others have opted for more punitive measures such as criminalizing homelessness or restricting access to public spaces. As the debate continues, it's essential to examine the role of the Supreme Court in shaping the policies and approaches taken by local authorities. The recent Supreme Court ruling has sparked controversy and raised important questions about the limits of government power in addressing homelessness. In this ruling, the court effectively struck down a city's attempt to criminalize homelessness, arguing that it violated the Eighth Amendment's prohibition on cruel and unusual punishment. The ruling has significant implications for towns and cities across the country, forcing them to rethink their strategies and policies on homelessness. The court's decision was based on the argument that punishing homeless individuals for sleeping on the streets when there is nowhere else for them to go is inhumane and unconstitutional. The ruling is a victory for advocates of homeless rights who argue that punishing people for being homeless only exacerbates the problem and fails to address its root causes. On the other hand, critics of the ruling argue that it ties the hands of local authorities, preventing them from taking necessary steps to maintain public order and safety. The Supreme Court's ruling is part of a broader trend in which cities and states are rethinking their approaches to homelessness. Many are moving away from punitive measures and towards more holistic and compassionate policies that focus on providing affordable housing, mental health services, and job training programs. The ruling serves as a wake-up call to local authorities, encouraging them to work together with advocates, service providers, and the homeless community to develop solutions that prioritize dignity, respect, and the well-being of all individuals. One of the most significant takeaways from the ruling is that towns and cities must take a more nuanced and comprehensive approach to addressing homelessness. This means investing in affordable housing, providing access to mental health and substance abuse services, and offering job training programs and other forms of support. It also means acknowledging the inherent dignity and humanity of homeless individuals and recognizing that they have the same rights and freedoms as any other citizen. As we move forward, it's essential to recognize the complexity of the homelessness crisis and the need for a multifaceted approach that addresses its root causes. The Supreme Court's ruling is an important step in this direction, but it's just the beginning. We must continue to educate ourselves, advocate for change, and support organizations and initiatives that are working to address this crisis. In today's video, we've explored the implications of the Supreme Court ruling regarding homelessness and the potential powers towns may have in addressing the issue. The ongoing challenges faced by homeless individuals, the details of the Supreme Court ruling, and the potential impact on community policies have all been examined. Join the conversation by sharing your thoughts on the ruling in the comments below, and be sure to check out my other videos on homelessness and social justice issues.